A brilliant example of land restoration through agriculture and adding organic matter with earthworks can be found in one of the world's harshest terrains, the deserts of Jordan.
So we designed up a system that would harvest every single bit of rainwater that fell on it. On 10 acres, there's 1.5 kilometres of swale water harvesting ditch on contour. Originally people laughed at us because we didn't put straight lines in. We went on contour with these swales. They thought, why don't you put it so you've got a bulldozer, you can flatten the desert, you can straighten it. So we want to go on contour because we've got a longer edge and we harvest the water passively. And when they're full, 1 million litres of water soak into the landscape. And then we heavily mulch those swales with organic matter, almost 1/2 metre deep. Then we put micro-irrigation underneath the mulch. And then on the uphill side of the water harvesting trench, we put nitrogen fixing very hardy pioneer desert trees, which help shade and reduce wind evaporation, and also put nitrogen into the soil and structure the soil for us. And then on the lower side of the trench, we put fruit trees, majoring in date palms, and then we put in figs, pomegranates, guavas, mulberries, now some citrus. Within 4 months we had figs a metre high with figs on. If we can do it on an insignificant flat little bit of 10 acres of flat, we could regreen any desert.
It's a very simple, fast thing that we can do, but we need to make the shift to a permanent covered soil agriculture.
We can actually address the global climate change and sequester all that carbon and put it back into the soil and be creating healthy, sustainable agriculture in the process. Win-win solutions.
Yes.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
That's biological farming.
One of the aspects that really defines this farm versus so many others is this concept of conscious design that goes into it. Tell me a little bit about the design process.
This system of design is based on keyline. Keyline was invented by a man named P.A. Yeoman, who figured out that we can build topsoil very quickly. It started with systematic landscape design and designing all your roads, buildings, water layouts, fields, fencing, based on the water shapes of the land.
We've all been taught and told that it takes 1,000 years to create an inch of topsoil. But now a guy like you comes along with many others, saying, no, we can create topsoil very quickly, inch or 2 inches or more in a year or two.
The USDA has held for a long time that it takes 1,000 years to build an inch of topsoil. Topsoil can be formed very quickly. They have a record of building 4 to 6 inches of new topsoil per year. Soil biology is the key to fertility and profitable agriculture. And soil fertility, there's some basic requirements of the microbes in the soil life, and that is air, water, and minerals. So using a subsoiler plow, a non-inversion tillage tool, shanks that don't turn the soil like a mold board, but rather just lift it, fracture the soil, loosen it.
So now we're going to see what subsoiling looks like in practice. You wouldn't know it looking at there's anything going on here, but in fact, after the cows have grazed here, Abe's come by with this subsoiler and loosened the soil, which ends up looking a little bit like this, drum roll please, without a shovel, which gives you some idea of how good the soil is. And there we see it. So what's happening quite simply is how to create soil in 3 easy steps. Cows eat up top, kills off the roots in the bottom, which decay, organic matter, combined with the aeration of the subsoiler, combined with the watering, quick, easy, fast steps to rebuilding the foundation of civilization, the soil. It's actually some of the most patriotic things you can do for the country here.
Right, and for the earth. I mean, we have to think big on this one. Soil is the matrix. It's what everything comes from. Creating new topsoil is, if I want to leave anything to my daughter, it's new topsoil. That's the one thing that I can be sure will take care of Earth.
Thomas Jefferson says, soil is the foundation of our civilization.
It's true security.
I like that. Homeland security.
Homestead security.
Sometimes I believe I am open to receive some straightening on this frame.
Regenerative thinking means not only working with, but learning from nature. Business increasingly is trying to unlock the secrets of how nature manufactures, packages, distributes. And seventh generation natural household products in Burlington is wondering, How will the house of tomorrow clean itself?
The day is alive.
How do things in nature function?
The waters and mountains are breathing.
How does a leaf clean itself?
The day has survived.
And how can we learn from nature and apply that to products?
The sun through my window says, open your eyes again.
Where are we going to get our raw materials? And I don't know if you're talking about it in your packaging. Are you talking about your plastic bottles that'll be made from some sort of a cornstarch, and then it'll biodegrade at the end of its life? Our customers someday are going to come to us and say, how was the corn grown in your packaging? Is the corn GMO? How was it grown?
Seventh Generation invited Janine Benyus, author of Biomimicry, to conduct a workshop on how to use nature's patterns as models for product design, proving that business can make a profit while regenerating our natural systems.
This whole thinking that what's good for the environment is bad for business, it's so misguided. Because, I mean, today, Walmart understands very clearly that doing the right thing for the environment has huge benefits for business. They just told the whole laundry detergent industry that all products next year have to be twice as concentrated as they are today. If you take the water out of the cleaning product, you can put more product on a truck. The truck can have less pollution, and the retailer can have more value on their shelves. If we are going to convince business that being responsible, being sustainable, being regenerative, if we're going to get them interested in responsible business, we have to be a model that they want to emulate. We've been growing at 30 to 40% for the past 5 years. The products are really a way in which we can build relationships. We have a program called Change It, where we work with Greenpeace to bring 100 college kids to Washington to be taught how to be more effective social change advocates. If we weren't selling dish liquid, we wouldn't be able to afford bringing these kids to Washington because we pay for the whole training process. We can't afford to continue down the path we're on. I just hate to see more hurricanes like Katrina. How many hurricanes like that do we need to have before people say, gee, we got to do something about global warming? The name Seventh Generation comes from the Iroquois Indians. And it is sort of extracted from their Bible. And the statement is, in our every deliberation, we should consider the impact of our decisions on the next 7 generations.